All right, Wiz Nation. Once again, it's another episode of State of the Wizards. I'm your host, K Jose, and I got my main man, D Can, here from Wiz Takes.
What's up?
Tell about yourself.
What's going on, man? Decan with Wiz Takes. How you guys doing today? Thank you for tuning into another episode of State of the Wizards. Please follow me on at Wiz Takes on Twitter at Wizards Mafia. Also catch me on IG, and I'll be on here, State of the Wizards on YouTube.
That's what's up. I don't understand why you guys are not following us, especially my man D Can bringing real good Wiz content. You can follow me at DC Hoopla on IG, also on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also I'm on here on State of the Wizards, and we are the voices of the unheard.
Well, we'll
So,
pick up. We'll pick up. I've gotten some followers on Patreon. It's cool. Like we'll pick up more on this once the season starts. So I'm not really too concerned about that. But please, if you do watch this, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. We're gonna have lots of things that's gonna be in the future. Like we're probably gonna have some giveaways in the future. Just look out for that. And give us some feedback in the comments. Anything that you guys would like to share with us, we're open. We're open to it. Let us know. We'll definitely get involved and make this channel more exciting for all of you.
absolutely. This is definitely for true diehard Wizards fans. This is for you. This is what we do. We do this for you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's talk about addressing the Beal apologists. We've talked about this a few times, way too many times, but lately it seems like people decide that they want to make up excuses for Bradley Beal, and the season hasn't even started yet. So give me your take. I mean, I know you see it. Just give me your take about these Bill apologists out here.
Well, where do you want me to start? I mean, you and I, we talk about this stuff all the time.
Hmm.
Bradley Beal, doesn't get a pass. You and
Right.
I have made this very clear, for several years now. For the past what I think we're going on a fourth year without John Wall. So ever since Bill has become the leader of this franchise, and mind you, even before John Wall was out, before John Wall was deemed, injured, couldn't play, he's out indefinitely. Before all of that, Bradley Beal was a part of the leadership on this team. He's been the co-leader of this team for 8, 9 years. He's been the co-guy. Ever since he's been drafted, he's been always known as that number two guy. And so, I don't know where the excuse train began with Bradley Beal. I look at it like this. Bradley Beal's a phenomenal player. Bradley Beal has gone from being able to put up 16 points now to 30, 34, 33, now averaging 30, And you and I, when Bradley Beal first got drafted, just so a lot of you have a little background on this, when he got drafted, I wasn't a big fan. You weren't a big fan, right? What did we
Right.
say? What did we say when we saw Bradley Beal becoming the spot up 3-point shooter that he became? What did we say about Bradley Beal in those first 2 years that he was in uniform? What did we say when he was averaging 16 points per game? What did we say about
We said that we needed to see more out of it. And also, too, we said we need to see him be able to create off the dribble.
him? Okay, we said that, right? We
Mhm.
said we said this kid could do what?
He could actually create off the dribble and give us a few more extra points.
He could average what?
He could average 20.
He could average 20, he could average 25.
Yeah.
Just to give some background on all of this, we were one of the first Bill supporters of Bradley Beal becoming the player he is today. Okay, let's just make that clear. We've never been more critical of Bradley Beal. than now. Okay, so if those people out there saying, "Man, y'all always hated on Bradley Beal," no, we have not. There was a time. There was a time where when Bradley Beal got drafted, we loved the idea of Bradley Beal becoming who he is now. Earlier in his career, now we've been told at the times that he did not come through, when Bradley Beal was not coming through in the clutch, we were told that Bradley Beal is not ready to come through in the clutch. Bradley Beal is young. Bradley Beal needs time to mature. Bradley Beal needs to, So guess what? Guess what we did? We gave him that time, did we not?
Yeah, we did.
So with that said, for those people who want to not give John Wall the credit for leading the basketball team all of those years, remember, everyone wants to people want to throw Bradley Beal in as a catalyst when it's convenient for Bradley Beal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But while they were making those excuses, well, Bradley Beal is young. He's not ready to average 20 points per game yet. But yet, y'all want to credit him when John Wall was the person who was averaging 20, when John Wall was the person who was becoming an all-star every year. You guys want to throw that in there. Truth be told is, you're right. He wasn't ready. He was not ready to lead yet. But John Wall was. As soon as John Wall was drafted, he was ready to lead. And every year, he got better. And every year, he was an all-star. And while John Wall was leading this team, and you guys kept saying Bradley Beal's not ready because of age. That's what you guys were saying.
Right.
John Wall was an all-star who was leading the franchise year after year.
Right.
Okay? So with that said, it wasn't us that gave him the co-leadership title in the beginning. We just said we wanted this guy to score more points.
Right.
It was you guys who said that Bradley Beal was the co-leader of this team.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's just go ahead and put that out there. John Wall got injured. Who's the next man up? John Wall got injured. Looks like you're having some technical difficulties. John Wall got injured. The next man up is Bradley Beal. Okay. So Bradley Beal is the next man up by default because John Wall got injured. But let's keep in mind, his role as a leader never changed. Okay? So all of those years that we were banking on Bradley Beal to step up to another level, that didn't happen until John Wall got injured. That is now the standard that we're setting for him. And he set this standard for himself because let's not forget, after 2017, 2018 season, that's when the Everybody Eats campaign started.
Yep.
All right. Everybody Eats campaign starts. Now Bradley Beal is the de facto leader. He is the leader.
Mm-hmm.
John Wall at this point is out. Not even deemed indefinite yet. We don't know the extent of his injury. At this point, Bradley Beal is the leader by default. And so he says, I'm ready to take this on. I'm ready to be that guy. All right. So me and you, in our minds, we said, okay, well, we've already given this guy ample time to average what he's been averaging. Okay. That's number one. Number two, we've seen one guy already become a 5-time All-Star. We've seen this one guy put up consistent numbers while the other guy was kind of like trailing behind him a little bit. And at this point, Bradley Beal is now the guy. All right. Mm-hmm. So here we are, 4 years in. When people want to talk about Bradley Beal's supporting cast, right? John Wall's supporting cast, his first couple of years leading this team was who?
JaVale McGee, Nick Young, Andre Blatch,
right?
Hilton Armstrong. I can go on.
Right. So let's stick with that, right? if you guys are pushing this reset button for Bradley Beal all of a sudden, like this guy just became a leader 4 years ago. Forget the other, 7 or so years that he was the co-leader. He's officially the leader 4 years ago. That supporting cast of guys that he's played with is still, in my opinion, better than the supporting cast that John Wall had to play with his first couple of years in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here we are. Fast forward to right now, because I'm gonna finish my point up. Bradley Beal is going into his the 4th year now at this point under the post John Wall era, and people are still complaining about the supporting cast. But let's keep in mind, man, as a co-leader, John Wall is no longer here because you said you wanted to be the guy. We got Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook said he wanted to come here to play alongside you. And now, after 1 year, Russell Westbrook said he wants to go home and play. Now, another guy leaves because you're still here. Like, John Wall's gone because of you. Now, technically, Russell Westbrook's gone because nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, if Russell Westbrook really wanted to play with you, going home wouldn't be his number one priority. It would be staying here playing with you. But he decided he wanted to go home and play. So now you've had two guys essentially, while you're being the co-leader, now while you're the leader, say that, hey, at this point, this is Bradley Beal's team. I'm somewhere else now. All right. Last point, Spencer Dinwiddie comes in. We know he's nowhere near the last 2 point guards who's come here and play alongside Bradley Beal. Of course, he wants to play with Bradley Beal. Of course he does.
Yeah.
A guy who's not going to challenge Bradley Beal at all for that title. He just wants to be a guy. Yeah. But people are still going to complain about Spencer Dinwiddie being Bradley Beal's teammate because that's been the excuse. Oh, look at who Bradley Beal's teammates have been. That's where we are. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, can't say any better, but I will say this. The excuses have got to stop, man. I mean, he's basically ran two electrifying point guards out of DC. I know the haters are going to sit there and say, no, he didn't. He didn't run those guys out of here. John Wall wanted out of here. Well, you know why John Wall wanted out of here, because the organization, Tommy Shepard, said that it's unfair to sit here and say that Beal is not a leader of this team. So what did you expect John Wall to do? All you got to do is look no further than when Gilbert Arenas was in the same boat John Wall was in. He saw what was happening. So you bring in a Spencer Dinwiddie. He's just happy that there was a franchise that really wanted his services and that was going to allow him to start. But Dinwiddie is coming off of an injury. And let's be for real. And I was thinking about this, and I know you said it before. John Wall's worst year was Spencer Dinwiddie's best year. Just think about that for a moment, people. John Wall's worst year, which was this past season as a Houston Rocket, is Spencer Dinwiddie's best season. So to have Beal here still telling everybody that he wants to stay, but he says he wants to win ball games. He didn't say he wants to win a championship. He just says he wants to win ball games. I mean, if the standard is, well, we're not going to accept being a first round exit team anymore. Well, what's the standard? Right. You're not talking about Bill going to win a championship. Right. I mean, if you look at the team what the Lakers have done, if you look at the moves that, Chicago has done, people are talking about the defense is going to be questionable, but they've gotten better. Some of these teams are actually trying to win championships. And to me, it seems like all we're concerned about is let's just appease one guy. So let me talk about the supporting cast. I don't want to hear no more about the supporting cast not doing what they're supposed to, because this is pretty much the same supporting cast that was here in 2019, 2020 season and 2020, 2021. Just a few tweaks here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's some of the same guys. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't sit here and say that the supporting cast is trash, but then when they get the team to the playoffs, then all of a sudden, oh well, let's give credit to Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Wait a minute, hold up, come on now. You said, well, it's not fair to expect these guys to lead these trash players. But
Mm-hmm.
then when they go to the playoffs, then you want to give these guys flowers.
Right.
Like, come on, make it make sense. It's not fair to blame guys like Rui, for not performing when he clearly doesn't really know what his role is.
Right. So
And it
Rui,
seems like it's about to happen again.
yeah, so Rui is going to be, Rui was the third option, maybe the fourth option at times last season. Rui's rookie year, he was looked off a couple, more than a couple times, and he was starting as a rookie. The thing is, we have to pick an identity. Who do we want to be? Like,
Right.
you drafted these guys because you believe that these guys could be contributors right away on a team who is going through a minor, quote unquote, minor rebuild. Okay. Now we're more in the major rebuild stage because we're turning over a roster. Yeah, some guys are returning, but most of these guys are new at this point. Okay. So you're bringing back the same nucleus of guys. All right. But you're adding more depth at this point. All right. So we're technically improved team, according to a lot of people out there who believe that this was a great trade. So we should be an improved team from last season. But the people who are complaining about Bradley Beal supporting cast, they are the same ones who they're not giving credit to the supporting cast like they should for getting us to the point we got to last season. They only want to credit Russell Westbrook. They only want to credit Bradley Beal. And then they don't want to use they don't want to admit that the roster that we have orchestrated this year is better for Bradley Beal. So the thing is that the craziest thing, right, is these are the same people who say, "Oh, I love the drafts. I love the trades. We're so much better than we are. We have added depth," right? But then when one breath, and in the next breath, they go and say, "Well, duh, we're not going to be great because look at who Bradley Beal's cast is."
Exactly.
Make it make sense. Which one is it? Which one is it? Are we better? Are we adding depth? Are we a good basketball team? Are we building on this for Bradley Beal for the sake of Bill? Or are we just simply trash because you guys don't want to admit the facts that Bill can't lead a mediocre level basketball team? Come on, like,
pretty much.
Which one is it, man? Like, this isn't. I just want to make this clear. This isn't a Bradley Beal bashing episode. This is simply what it is. John Wall, when he was here, we did not make excuses for the roster that Ernie Grunfeld put together year after year after year, and every single one of us knew that that roster was not going to compete in the East with with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat. We knew this. We knew this year in, year out. We made no excuses whatsoever. John Wall, as the guy, made it work. We were a mediocre basketball team at best. Okay? We made it work. Our best season was 2016 and 2017. That was the year that those two guys decided they wanted to put all of their problems to the side and play like true all-stars. That's why we had a great season. Yep. It ain't have shit to do with the supporting cast. I can promise you that.
Nope.
Nothing to do with the supporting cast.
Nope. Game 7 was proof of that. Game 7 against the Boston Celtics was proof of it. So now that we're talking about supporting cast, let's talk about some of the new pieces that's on the team, but just one in particular. We're going to talk about Kyle Kuzma. I'm sure you saw the interview with him on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. And of course, I'm sure you read some of the narratives that people have created about him, that he's going to come here and play like the way he did his first 2 seasons. So you and I talked offline. You said you saw a little bit of it. And then you said, you know what, Kyle Kuzma is going to get on my nerves. I want you to elaborate on why you say he's going to get on your nerves.
Well, first of all, I'm annoyed by the fact that he's making himself sound like he should be like the guy here already. Like,
Right.
first of all, you've had more to prove, or you have more to prove than anybody else walking through that door.
Right.
Number one, you're lucky that you wasn't dealt multiple times on the day we traded for you. Okay,
Right.
you're lucky because your name was tossed around a few times before the Wizards said, okay, he's our guy. We're sticking with him. Okay, so, number one, what's annoying to me is that Kyle Kuzma knew that he was being dealt. He said himself that he thought he was going to Sacramento.
Right.
All right. So that belief to me tells me that, okay, well, if he felt like he was going to Sacramento, well, what did he believe that his role was going to be? I don't know if he thought like, oh, well, I'm just going into another situation where I'm going to be, asked to come off the bench, or if I'm going to be asked to be the guy. I don't know. Then he said this was a better situation when he learned that he was coming here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're coming here. Okay, this isn't Sacramento. All right. So whatever Sacramento is going to ask you to do there, it's not what we're going to ask you to do here. We're going to ask you to be that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not getting no passes here, bro. I hope you don't think you coming here and you thinking like, oh, well, this is like Sacramento, but in the East. Like, nah, in Sacramento, you probably could have chilled out because you already know you're not competing with the likes of the Lakers and some of those powerhouses in the West. When you come to the East, okay, you're going to be going up against a guy that people was comparing you to up until probably 2 seasons ago in Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is a thorn in the Wizards' ass every year. He puts up numbers, man. And if anything, this is really going to be a make or break situation for you because you're going up against the guy who people compared you to your entire career. If this guy is already at all-star, superstar level, and you're nowhere near second tier level, then I'm sorry to say that conversation is going to be thrown out the window as fast as you get here. It's that simple. And so what annoys me is the fact that I feel like he thinks he's Tatum. Like, I feel like he thinks he's that guy already coming through the door. Like, you got so much to prove. Like, and I already know what the people out there, the haters are going to say. They're going to say, oh, how did you get that out of what he said? He never said that. Like, trust me, bro. Like, he's coming from LA, a big market. He's coming to Washington, a smaller market. He's already going to feel like, the carpet should be laid out for him. Come on, man. He played with LeBron. He's got a chip. Like he's going to come through the door. He already is. You could just see the aura. Like, he's coming through the door. He's working on his game. But, bro, what was the post after he learned that he got traded here? He put him alongside Bradley Beal. What did he call himself?
Oh, yeah, the Capital City Boys.
Capital City Boys. Come on, bro. Organically, the fans are supposed to come up with that. Right. This man came up with that himself, bro.
Yeah. My thing is with Kyle Kuzma, because I did an episode about him on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and there were certain things he spoke about. And to me, what I got out of it was that this guy looks at this is the opportunity that I can show the league that I am a player. I can be a player in this league. He knows that he's been compared to Jason Tatum. He believes that because the first two seasons, how the way he played, that he's capable of putting those numbers up. Mind you, and I have to constantly be very frank and be honest, we have to be honest about those first 2 years, him in the league, with the numbers he put up. The Lakers team was bad those 2 years. If you go and look at that roster, they weren't playing for nothing. So he would have did the same thing if he did land in Sacramento. I think he, in my opinion, I think he might have been slightly open to Sacramento. I mean, let's be for real. Not a lot of people are happy when they go to Sacramento because there's nothing there. But he would have been open to it because he would have been able to have the opportunity to just go rogue. But for some reason, he feels he can go rogue here, and I don't know if it has something to do with upper management. I don't know what they're saying, but this guy feels like this is a better situation for him where he can just come here and do whatever. Now, these Jason Tatum comparisons, I don't know why. Okay, they're both on a light skin. Maybe that's about it. But they're two different types of games. Kyle Kuzma to me gives me those Trevor Ariza type vibes. He's not a defender like Trevor Ariza, but he just gives me that vibe. Like that's probably the best he's gonna be. And I'm just not feeling that he's gonna come here and take away minutes from Rui, take away minutes from Denny. We probably won't see Corey Kisper because we're going to see him and Katavious Caldwell Pope, another player who's been linked to the Wizards for years. I mean, in my podcast, I showed you guys these two guys' names was linked going back to 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. We just decided to execute the trade this year. So it makes me wonder, because it was presented, maybe Tommy wanted us to make that move 3 years ago. Since he couldn't do it, it happened 3 years later. It just so happened it was Westbrook that brought these guys here. So to go back to Kuzma, I don't really expect him to do anything but what he always does. And he's going to basically be an underachiever. He's unproven. He's 26 years old. He's entering his prime years, and you don't really know what kind of player he is.
Yeah.
Will he develop to be something here? Maybe, maybe not. But let's be for real. These guys that are here that we've acquired, they're here to advertise themselves for their next journey, which will possibly not, which I hope is not here, with the exception of Montrezl Harrell.
Well, that's why I was saying, I don't know what any of them are going to expect coming here. Like, I don't know what their agents even told them. Hey, you're going to the Wizards. Yes, it's not the Lakers situation. No, they're not competing for a championship. Like, what do you tell a guy, some guys who's coming from a big market like that to Washington, D.C., yeah, I know they don't have nothing to do with the trade and its business, but, if you're KCP and you're Montrezl Harrell, I guess you welcome it because you have no other choice, but I can't possibly see in either one of these guys thinking that DC's long-term, home for them. I know for a fact, Kuzma believes that this is a short stop. He may be dealt by the trade deadline.
Exactly.
I mean, we literally was trying to unload this guy the same day we acquired him.
That's true.
So he's 9 times out of 10, man, whatever trade scenario is going to come up in the future, his name's going to be involved. I just can't imagine, these guys being long-term fits here.
No, they shouldn't be. I mean, again, you'd have, Corey Kisper, you got Denny, you got, Rui Hachimura, you got Isaiah Todd. I mean, you got a lot of young guys on here. And in my opinion, it's not fair to raise the bar and set the standards so high for these young guys, but you kind of keep the bar low for the veterans. There's a lot of guys, like to be honest with you, Decan, this team is filled with unproven players. Mm-hmm. Even Bradley Beal is still unproven. He's proven that he can score with the best of them. We know this. We never question that. But where he's unproven is his leadership. And that's where he gets a pass on his leadership. That's where the excuses come. Well, he was too young. Well, the supporting cast is trash. Well, this, that, and the third. Like how? Like what? The man could be 32 years old, and then you will still have people make excuses for why he can't do this and why he can't do that.
Well,
Again, this
well, let
team
me
is
let me let me
filled.
just let me address what you just said real quick though.
Go ahead, I'm
Right.
listening.
So that's my problem. You know, Bradley Beal was too young and too inexperienced to average what he's averaging his first couple of years in the league, right?
I call
Cool, cool.
bullshit on that, but go ahead.
But no, I mean, let's give him that. Okay, fine, fine. He was too young. We're giving him that. We did. We didn't criticize him. We said, hey, we know what this kid can bring. I know for a fact he has 30 in him. I know he has. I know on a consistent basis. I know this kid has 30 in him a night. You heard me say that. You heard me
Yeah.
say that about Bradley Beal. I said I believe Bradley Beal could give us 30 or at least 25 consistently, night in, night out, right? You heard me say that. All right. Now we're at the point where he's giving us that. And the excuse is, oh, well, look at his supporting cast. Well, what did you expect when we went through a minor rebuild? Okay, what did you expect? The guys that we have on this team now are second and third year players. So the thing is okay, now you add more, you add in more talent though. It's not like these guys are just bums. You add in more talent. These guys were contributing. Some of these guys don't even get to fulfill exactly what it is that they truly desire to do. They're not playing their true game because everything's catered to Bradley Beal. But we're right in the mix of things. We're competing. We're giving people what they want night in, night out. You've added Bertans. You've added the likes of other players who can contribute. How Neto. You got Robin. You had Robin Lopez last year. Like you got players to contribute, right? Now people are complaining that the team is too young and too inexperienced. And this is why Bradley Beal can't lead the team. So it's like, come on, people. Give it up. Stop it. Like we're getting to this point, man, where we just can't keep making excuses. The thing is
right.
What we're talking about when we talk about leadership, we're not talking about points. We're not talking about averages. We're talking about on and off the court leadership, meaning that this man is coming in and he is consistently setting the bar at a high level for the rest of his teammates for a span of an 82-game season.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Year in and year out. We're going on our fourth year post John Wall. John Wall did that. We saw another player do it. Okay? So you guys can't say that we don't have an example of it because we literally saw this the previous 7 years or previous 6 years. We saw this. So you can't say that we don't have an example of this. We literally just saw it. Okay? So it can be done. Bradley Beal, if you are listening and you're watching this as a Wizards fan, all I'm telling you is that be great on defense. Be great on defense as you are on offense, as you are, shooting the ball. Be great. It's not like we don't want you to. If you lead this team by example, I promise you the rest will follow. There's only a select few players that we know loves your leadership. We know who those players are. Thomas Bryant is one. Okay? Troy Brown Jr. was another, and he's not here anymore. Okay? If you want to be that guy, then you're going to have to do it. You have to display it on both ends of the court. And my thing is, what really hurts Bradley Beal is the fact that we already saw it from a guy named John Wall. He did it on both ends of the court.
He did.
The Kobe challenge to John Wall, which he didn't quite live up to. He did for one season, but he didn't quite live up to it. the Kobe challenge should be now for Bradley Beal.
I agree. I agree. So you mentioned Thomas Bryant, and what we know about Thomas Bryant is he was actually starting. He was trending to have a breakout season last year, and we know he had a torn ACL, and we've seen the workout videos of him rehabbing and getting his legs together. Now, here's what I'm noticing a little bit of a kind of like a contradiction in some aspect, or a double standard, should I say, where you have two players. So you got Thomas Bryant and you got Spencer Dinwiddie. Both of these guys are rehabbing from the same type of injury. But what I notice is that Thomas Bryant's bar is set low and Spencer Dinwiddie's bar is set high. So people are saying, oh, well, Spencer Dinwiddie is going to come in here and do what he did in 2019, 2020, but then they don't have high expectations for Thomas Bryant. Oh, because he's recovering from an ACL injury. You can't expect him to come in and do this and come and do that. Well, why? Well, so did Spencer Dinwiddie. So how is it one player you don't have high expectations for who has an ACL injury and is recovering, but another player you do have high expectations for? Like, make it make sense. How does that make sense?
As far as what? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not understanding the question. As far
So,
as
what my question is, Thomas Bryant
yeah.
was was trending to have a breakout season
Oh,
last year,
okay. Yep.
but he had a torn ACL injury.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Dinwiddie had an ACL injury last year,
Right.
but everybody is expecting him to duplicate what he did
I see.
2 seasons ago.
Yeah. 2C. Okay.
So they're saying, oh, well, you know what? He can do this because we've seen him do that when he
Right, but
played.
they're like they're not expecting Thomas Bryant to
They're
come
not
back.
expecting Thomas Bryant to do this. They didn't
Okay.
even expect John Wall to do that either.
Right. Right. Right.
So, which led to him getting traded. But
Right.
you're expecting Spencer Dinwiddie to do this, but you setting the bar low for Thomas Bryant, who is, well, he wasn't drafted by us. We signed him off, but he's pretty much been a wizard, since he's
Well,
been here. So
both
go ahead.
players, yeah, both players should have the same level of expectations coming off of injury.
Right.
I mean, that's just that. Simple as that. Thomas Bryant, I mean, he was playing phenomenal up until his injury. Like everyone saw him growing in front of us. We was like,
Right.
whoa, Thomas Bryant doesn't really give us this on a night-to-night basis, but he's doing it the first, what, 5, 10 games into the season.
Right.
So the thing was, before his injury, yeah, we didn't expect it, but he set another level of expectations for himself.
Right.
So, and for the fans. And so, him coming back from this injury, I to be honest with you, I don't know who's not setting the level of expectations the same as Spencer Dinwiddie, but in my opinion, Thomas Bryant's expectations should be higher, in my opinion, because of the simple fact that we know what we're getting out of Thomas Bryant at this point.
Right.
We don't know what we're getting out of Spencer Dinwiddie. Let's just keep it a buck. We don't know what we're getting out of Spencer Dinwiddie. We know what we should be getting out of Thomas Bryant. If Thomas Bryant comes back and he's nowhere near what we saw before his ACL injury, oh, best believe we gonna know, my dude.
That's fair. I agree. So it's the same with Spencer Dinwiddie. It's like in my opinion, I don't really have high expectations for Spencer Dinwiddie because it's unfair. He's coming off an ACL injury. I expect him to be rusty, to struggle, probably to shoot terrible because he hasn't played basketball in over 12 months. So it would be foolish for me to ask him to do what he did 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But and I hate to bring John Wall up because he was removed for 2 years, but people pretty much said, "Oh, you know what? He's done," and he didn't even get a chance to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once he started playing, and even though it was his worst season in the NBA, but his worst season in the league was Spencer Dinwiddie's best seasons. But still, he put up 20 and 7. That's pretty impressive for a guy who's been 2 years removed from basketball. So I think that we have to, fans have to be realistic when it comes down to Bradley Beal's leadership, you got to hold him accountable. And that's pretty much what me and DK are saying. Accountability is going to be held all the way around. It's not going to be this player is going to be held accountable. This player is going to get a pass. No, nobody's really going to get a pass except for the young guys because they're not really getting the ample opportunity to develop the way we want to see them develop. But you veterans, KCPs, even Montrezl Harrell, Kuzma, Beal, to a certain degree, a little bit of Dinwiddie, you guys are not getting any passes. None whatsoever. No. There will be no excuse. I don't want to hear not a goddamn thing about no COVID, no injuries, because guess what? We weren't the only team going through that. All the rest of the teams was dealing with that. So those excuses have to come to an end. We need to stop acting like COVID is only affecting the Washington Wizards. That's not true.
Well, best believe it will come to an end, my dude. I have, look, again, this is feet to the fire. This is a feet to the fire episode on State of the Wizards. Simple as that. We're not sitting up here anymore listening to a bunch of these excuses. It is what it is. Can Bradley Beal get it done for us or not? It is what it is. At this point, you got people saying, hey, I want him to sign that contract extension next month in October. I want to see him lead us. Look, we all do. But you come to a conclusion, man, eventually. You come to a conclusion that maybe he just can't get it done. He can average 50 points per game. If it doesn't result in a championship, it doesn't mean anything. So that's where we are right now. Look, we love Bradley Beal. There's no hatred here. We're not bitter. Yes, we felt some type of way with the everybody eats, but it is what it is. That time has passed. That time has come and gone. Now we're on to a new chapter. We've been on this chapter, actually. And, we're now deep into the book of, building around Beal. And so, look, all we're saying here on State of the Wizards is it's either we're getting it done now or we're not going to get it done at all ever. And I'm just being frank. This season will expose a lot. This season will expose a lot. Because if you made all these deals in the off season, you made these deals for a reason. You think that we can get it done. You believe that we can get it done. And a lot of these guys are on expiring contracts. So it's either you believe you can get it done with this team or you don't believe you can get it done with this team. It's either you believe you can get it done with Bradley Beal or you don't believe you can get it done with Bradley Beal. And I'm going to make this prediction. If Bradley Beal doesn't sign his extension next month, I'm expecting a trade by the trade deadline. You've heard it here first on State of the Wizards.
I'm with you on that one. I definitely believe that.
Heard it here first.
So real quick, and we'll just try to make this very brief, and then we'll give a shout out to John Wall.
Yep.
This upcoming season, if we're underachieving, are you holding Wes Unseld Jr. accountable for that?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Wes Unseld Jr. could sit back, kick his legs up. He can just relax as far as I'm concerned. This is not on him at all this season. The players have to get it done this year. I'm expecting growth from the guys who've already been here. This has nothing to do with the new guys coming in and telling you where to stand on the basketball court. This has a lot to do with the guys who's making millions of dollars to go out there and perform.
Fair enough. All right. So early this week, former Wizards legend, John Wall's birthday. It was his 31st birthday. And, for the Wall haters, we're going to give you something. We're going to make you guys mad because we're going to show this guy some love. He was drafted. But this is the shot that, pretty much is just like one of the best shots in Wizards history. Westbrook had a phenomenal season. But even the things that he did last year cannot compete with this shot. Like, this is the team's true identity right here. This was the identity of the Washington Wizards, is this guy being electric, playing with a chip on his shoulder. He was the heart and soul of the team. The team is kind of boring now, in my opinion. But this guy here, man, I remember that play, him doing the 360 layup.
And
Like, come on.
look, John Wall, if you watching this segment, shout out to you. Happy birthday to you. You a DC legend. Forever Wizards point guard. Forever my Wizards point guard. It's as simple as that, man. Somebody who's been drafted #1, and in my opinion, who lived up to it. I don't think that there was anything else we could have done that would have completely satisfied you. It was unfortunate that you had to, start your career and technically end your career under an Ernie Grunfeld regime.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because
Right.
had you been under any type of other general manager, maybe they put together a product for you that won us multiple championships.
I agree. I totally agree. I think the Wizards organization did this man a disservice. For one, they never got his best friend, when he was in his prime years, in DeMarcus Cousins before he had the injury. Just imagine how great that team would have been if he was on this squad.
Yeah.
But definitely happy birthday to John Wall. Always going to be a Wizard. I don't care what the haters say. Kudos to him. I appreciate everything he did off the court for the city. You just you just don't grow these type of players on trees, man, especially for this organization that doesn't get the opportunity to even have a player of his caliber here. So definitely happy birthday and kudos to John Wall. I definitely miss seeing him wearing the red, white, and blue.
You know what I really miss about John Wall being here is he brought a different flash or flair. Like, Russell Westbrook brought us something last year, but to me, this was more authentic.
Yeah.
We got to see this maturation process in John Wall. And he was electric, man. He was an electric player.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that defensive play.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal's there, but you got John Wall on the weak side.
Absolutely. Always. I mean, again, Bradley Beal has matured.
These are slept on, man. People was like this. People was sleeping, man. They was sleeping.
One of the things that I miss about John Wall too, and this was one of your favorite things, was the pick and roll that he used to do with Marcin Gortat. I do miss that because we don't have that anymore. I'm not expecting nobody should be expecting Spencer Dinwiddie to do this. He has some shoes that he has to fill, and even he know he can't fulfill these damn shoes. When you got to come behind a guy like John Wall, and then you even have to come behind a guy like Westbrook, but more so John Wall, because Westbrook wasn't homegrown. He was just traded here. I just miss seeing number 2 on the basketball court. I'm hoping and praying that before he stops playing basketball, that he does come back to Washington. I really do hope that.
And you know what?
Because he's definitely missing.
And you know what? Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Steve and Buck. Steve Buckhands and Phil Chenier too, man. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Steve and Phil, man, because that was the end of an era. Like, was just everyone should know, if you've been a Bullets Wizards fan practically your whole life, Steve Buckhands and Phil Chenier, those guys are some of the most legendary, guys
right
in the nation's capital. And it wasn't just John Wall, leaving. It was them too. It was just an end of an era, man. It was like, wow, like we're not used to this.
No, we're not. We're not. I mean, it kind of like happened all at once. I mean, Phil Chenier got booted off, and then Steve Buckhands, and then John Wall got traded. It's kind of like the everything, just the organization just changed the identity of the Wizards all the way
Right.
around,
Right.
from
Exactly.
even the sports broadcasters to the players.
Yep.
It's just complete. Ted Leonsis did this. He changed it. He changed everything. I don't know if Bradley Beal said something. I don't know what it was, but it's just very ironic that they all happened back to back like they did. And
Absolutely.
now, even the commentary when you watch the games is boring because you got two guys on it that don't know what the hell they talking about.
Yeah. Look, um, those two guys. Look, at the end of the day, I get it. It's tough. It's tough following behind Steve Buckhantz and Phil Chenier. I get it.
Right,
Um, but truth be told, is man, we're used to we're just used to legends.
right,
Like
right.
Phil Chenier is a legend
Hmm.
as a Bullets player, as a broadcaster. He's a legend, And before, we've seen Michael Jordan come through here. We've seen Wes Unseld. We've seen Wes Unseld Senior, manage the team. Um, this organization has had legends.
Yeah,
So this whole turnover of new faces, man, it's just hard
right,
because
right.
the history.
Right. And I
I
think
think
that's the problem that I have with the team, is that with the organization, is that we have a player turnover issue, where, lately when I was thinking about it, a lot of the young players that we have lately, probably within the last, I say, maybe 5 years, 5, 6 years, we've seen players not, well, even longer than that, but we've seen players probably within the last 15 seasons not even finish their rookie contract. I mean, I can go down a list of players that we just haven't seen finish their rookie contracts because we give up on them so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them rightfully so, but then there was some that maybe we should have just put the time in. We've really only put the time in Bradley Beal and John Wall. Those really the only two players that we gave time to. But the rest of the players that were supposed to either play alongside those guys and grow with those guys, they're gone. So that's something that this organization has to change. Now, you talked about legends. Let me give some shout outs to three former Wizards and one Bullet, or two Bullets, but they all were Bullets too at one point. Bobby Dandridge, of course, is in the Hall of Fame. Chris Webber is in the Hall of Fame. And Ben Wallace is in the Hall of Fame. Folks, with the, Bobby Dandridge, I think he finished his career as a Bullet. But let's talk about Chris Webber and Ben Wallace. These guys were actually Bullets / Wizards, and we traded these guys away. And then they went on to become legends elsewhere. This got to come to an end. But I know what people are going to say. Well, you guys are so quick to want to get Bradley Beal out of here. If it makes the team better, yes. But when those guys, when we talk about Weber and Ben Wallace was traded, it didn't make sense. It didn't make us better. It actually made us worse.
I mean, man, you can go down the list of guys we got rid of, from Chris Webber, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton. I mean, the list is just
The
ridiculous.
list goes on. It goes on.
The list is ridiculous. But look, bottom line is that, that actually it actually that's kind of my point. We're so used to legends in this organization. Like, even if they even if they came through and they did a quick high and buy, these guys, they touched the organization and then they left. That's the thing, man. Like, as fans, you just get used to that.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
and so, this whole new, aura and culture that Ted Leonsis has created, I get it. I get it. It was a time, there's a time that you need to move on. And I get that. And
Right.
all of that was a Poland era.
Right.
So
Right.
this is officially Ted era.
And he's kind of starting off on the wrong foot. So here's what I would have to say, Ted, if you're watching, and you probably aren't, but if you're watching, you have another legend right across the hall. And that legend is Natasha Cloud. Kudos to her. She got a mural at a school out in PG County for her activism. So definitely kudos to her. She is like the female John Wall for the Mystics. Ted, please don't trade her away. Please let her retire as a Mystic. Can you please do that? Let her. She was drafted by this team. She's clearly the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah.
Please, by all means, I'm begging you. Please don't trade her away. Okay, if
Somebody
she
who's like really pumped they've invested their time and energy into the city, man. Like Natasha Cloud. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Kudos to her, man.
man, definitely kudos to her, but please, I
Yeah.
beg you, I can't stress it. Don't trade her away. I mean, I can't even thank her enough for what she's doing. She didn't play one season because she focused on the activism during the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I have to give her credit, man, and it's well deserved of the love that she's getting. You just don't get those type of players every day. Ted, I'm gonna say it again. Please don't trade her away. Please don't.
Yeah.
So,
Please, Ted, please keep Natasha Cloud here. We love Natasha Cloud. She took a picture with me and my son. I still got it till this day, man. It was a beautiful, beautiful picture. I even knew then. I said, you know what? I could tell she's gonna be here for a long time, and
right.
she was there for the opener, the stadium opener over there, and so she's connected to the communities, and she's always been nothing but an advocate for change. Strong Black woman, man. Like you just gotta really, really appreciate what she brought to the city, man.
Love her to death, man. That's one of my favorite Mystic players. I love her to death, what she does on and off the court.
For sure.
So that will end another episode of State of the Wizards. Once again,
y'all not gonna like this episode.
You're not. But you know what? We're the voices of the unheard. We're going to speak how the way we feel, man. And we got to be honest. It's no more excuses. We've already said it. No more excuses. Again, I don't want to hear about no COVID. I don't want to hear about no injuries. No more. You either get the job done or you get the hell out of here. That's where I'm at. Get it done or get out of here. I'm not really, hating on Bill, but I'm going to hold him accountable. No excuses from me, buddy. If you can't get the job done, you need to get your ass up out of here.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. And you haters are not going to like the fact that I said, I'm going to say it one more time. He either get the job done or he get his ass out of here. Any closing remarks you got to say, my dude?
Nah, man. I mean, that's pretty much it, man. Everything I've said it in this segment. But thank you guys for really supporting us. And, we've had some growth. We've seen it. So just because subscribers don't show it, don't mean that we're not growing. We see it. We see the support. We see, the views out there, and we can't thank people enough. We're not big. We're not ESPN. We're not in a huge market. So we don't expect to get, thousands and thousands at a time. But what we are expecting is we're expecting to little by little grow the base and give sorry, that was my dog. We're here to give the fans what they want and grow that base accordingly. So we're only working off of what you guys want. And we can't improve what we want to do unless you guys give us that feedback. And it's just that simple. We know that we know that you're not going to agree with everything we say. But the point is that, hey, if you want us to cover something, you want us to talk about it, drop a comment.
Absolutely.
Put it in the comments.
Drop a comment. Absolutely.
That it's that simple. You want us to cover something you want to talk about, drop a comment and we'll do it.
Absolutely. The thing about us is we'll interact with the fans. We'll respond back. We have no problem with it at all. To his point, you may not agree with what we say. That's okay. We didn't, we're not expecting that. There may be some things that you guys drop in the comments that we may not agree with as well. Right. I will respectfully, and I'm going to say it again, I will respectfully disagree with it. but I appreciate your comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Continue. We're going to always build this channel for you guys. We're doing it for you. We're doing it for you. Even the haters out there, we're doing it for you. Continue to keep on hating. Tell us why you're hating. We'll respond. We ain't going to run.
You know who you
Not at
are.
all.
You know who you are. You know,
You guys
yeah,
know who you are.
you know who you are. And I know who you are too.
We know you're watching. We know you're watching. That's all we got to say. You know who you are. We know you're watching.
Well, this is one
So
half of
thanks for watching.
yep.
Keep on watching State of the Wizard.
This is one half of the voice unheard, voice of the unheard.
It's the other half of the voice of the unheard. This is my man. Well, this is my man over here. Over here. I'm trying to do it over there. That's my man D Cam.
It's
Wiz Takes.
my man K Jose DC Hoopla. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
Like,
always
share,
fun,
subscribe,
bro.
follow us.
It's always fun. We'll catch you on the next episode.
All right, y'all have a good one.